to Nigeria specifically, where many families in Nigeria are now struggling to feed due to their savings being trapped in the banks. A changeover to a redesigned currency has plunged Africa's largest economy into crisis just ahead of a presidential election. There aren't enough new banknotes in a country reliant on cash. Nigeria has been plagued by a shortage of banknotes denominated in the local currency, the naira, since the central bank began changing the old bills for new ones. Banks have limited bank withdrawals due to the scarcity of new bills, and some businesses are refusing to accept the old note, leading to long lines and disruption of business activities. With few days to go before the presidential election in a country already plagued by frequent fuel shortages, violence occurred in the southwest in Ibadan and Benin City in the southern state of Delta. Joining us now is Kayla Megwa, presenter and State House correspondent for Channels Television, Abuja, Nigeria. Thank you so much, Kayla. First of all, we understand some customers have set some financial institutions on fire. How true is this, and how is the situation over the weekend and this morning?
Thank you so much for having me. It has been quite precarious. It's one of those situations where, you know, a lot has been said about this. Remember, this is not the first time we're trying to go cashless in Nigeria. This cashless policy was actually introduced in 2012. What happened last year is a redesign of the naira. Now, it's not a cash swap. So the idea was not, if we mop up this amount of money from the old currency, we're going to replace it with this amount of new currency. No, and I think people didn't understand that. What they've basically done is try to reduce the amount of cash in circulation, redesign the naira so that all of the money that is being hidden, because we had a situation where a lot of politicians, a lot of Nigerians even, are hoarding money. Some people believe that this hoarding is because of the elections. So the idea was to mop up all of this cash, get it all back into the CBN, and then reintroduce new currency. But this new currency is not the entire gambit of Nigeria's currency that is being changed. It was 200 naira, 500 naira, and the 1,000 naira notes. So this particular idea probably wasn't properly explained to people because many people thought they were going to do a cash swap. The amount of money that's going to be given to me is the amount of money that they are taking back from me. That's not how it's working. They put a daily limit even on how much money you can withdraw. The idea is to go cashless. Now, like you rightly said, a lot of Nigerians depend on cash for their daily transactions. It's something that's been going on. Not ideal, but something that is fact. However, this situation has opened up the fact that we have a lot of Nigerians who are unbanked. And that is a very big situation. We also have a broadband penetration that is not up to 70%. So trying to do these transactions online using bank apps and whatnot has been very difficult for many Nigerians. Personally, today, I tried to buy data for my phone and I couldn't because my bank app would not open. So it's opened up a lot of the issues that we're having. First of all, there are many people who are unbanked. There's too much cash transaction. There's a lot of money being hoarded. There's speculations about people hoarding all of this money so they can use it to rig election or buy votes during the elections. And then it's also opened up the fact that the banking infrastructure that is necessary to go cashless in Nigeria probably doesn't exist. We are seeing that failure even from the biggest banks. Now, what you're seeing on the screen right now is basically people who are taking out their frustrations. This is my money and I can't get it out. I can't withdraw and then I can't do transactions. It's a very precarious situation. And just a few days to the election, we don't know how this is going to play out. It's a great policy in itself. However, its implementation is what a lot of people have been having issues with, you know. And the education, the president spoke to the nation a few days ago, even sent a message to the whole country yesterday, President Muhammadu Buhari, basically saying, look, I understand what you're going through, but we have to do this. This is something that must be done. But the lack of cash is affecting a lot of people. It's a lot of adjustment that has to happen on the part of Nigerians, but at the same time, there's a lot of infrastructure for data services and for online transactions to be fixed by the banks so that we can actually get this going.
You explained that it's not the entire currency that is being changed. It's just 200 and 1,000. So why is it that it has now taken over the whole country as though everything is being changed?
It's a very interesting question. Actually, it's 200, 500, and 1,000. We still have the 100 naira notes. The old one is still a legal tender. We still have the 50 naira note, which is also a legal tender. We have the 20 naira note, the 5 naira note, the 10 naira note. But you see, like you're looking at that woman on the screen right now, she hasn't been using it. A lot of people have not been using the lower transactions, mostly because there's a lot of inflation in Nigeria and things are very expensive. I can't remember the last time I saw a 100 naira note, but it's out there, so people it's almost like cumbersome. So when you go to the bank these days, they bring out those old notes. They bring out the 50 naira, the 20 naira, the 100 naira, even the coins. We have coins. So they bring out all of that money and they give it to the Nigerians to use, but Nigerians are perplexed by this because they're doing transactions in hundreds of thousands of naira. So the idea that I have to have all of this 5 naira, 10 naira, 20 naira is a little cumbersome and inconvenient for many Nigerians. On the part of many politicians who may be thinking of using cash to rig the elections, it will be very inconvenient as well because you would have to give people a lot of money for them to give you their vote. If you're doing it with 5 naira and 10 naira and 20 naira and 50 naira and 100 naira, it will be very cumbersome. So it's a precarious situation. Like I said, it's a lot of education that has to happen with Nigerians. We have to really get into the fact that the way forward is cashless. It is a great thing. It's great in fighting corruption. The idea of this policy was to stop these corrupt practices and to stop kidnapping for ransom, which is something that we're dealing with. A lot of cash has been going out there for crime and criminality. If we redesign the currency, everyone who's been collecting all of that money has no choice but to return it to the banks. And now, if you're doing any criminal work, if you're taking ransom for kidnapping, we can now trace it if it's done online. That was the idea of this policy. And it's actually good. A lot of us are very favorable to this matter. The problem is the infrastructure to handle online transactions, especially on the part of banks, has been very precarious. I do have to note as well that President Muhammadu Buhari mentioned the fact that we saw a very disappointing situation when this policy was created. We found out that a lot of people in banks, a lot of bank staffs, a lot of bank management were actually hoarding this cash. And we even heard situations where the DSS had to arrest some people for selling the cash to politicians. We actually saw that happen. And President Muhammadu Buhari mentioned that in his address to the nation, saying that this is a criminal act and they will be arrested and dealt with. So it's one of those things that has brought up a lot of issues. And just a few days to the election, we're trying to see how this is going to affect the elections. We do not know how it's going to play out, but it's something that we'll be looking out for.
Okay. Now, we understand businesses are unable to carry out transactions and they've been forced to close, and people are illegally selling new currency notes at higher rates. How true is this?
This is actually true, disappointing, but true. Many businesses that do not have bank accounts, like I said earlier, it has shown that a lot of Nigerians are unbanked. So we have a lot of people who just store money in their house. So it's been difficult for them to do transactions. When people come to those kind of stores and they say, look, there's no cash, can I do a transfer? They say, no, I don't have a bank account. Can I do POS? I just told you I don't have a bank account. So those are the businesses that are suffering for this, especially a lot of petty traders, sugarcane sellers, people who are in many parts of the country doing petty trade work so they can eat every day. Most of them are unbanked. So we're having that situation going on. Now, the second thing that you mentioned, which is disappointing but true, is the fact that a lot of POS operators started selling the new money. So if you want to withdraw 10,000 naira from the POS, the operator will charge you 1,000 naira, sometimes 2,000 naira. So you're basically buying 10,000 naira for 12,000 naira. You know, it was very disappointing. But there are circulars out there. The president and of course DSS and Central Bank of Nigeria has asked us to report any POS operator who's charging you money to collect money. POS transactions are supposed to be 100 naira, 200 naira. So if there's any POS operator who's charging you 1,000 or 2,000, we're supposed to report them. But yes, we did see that happen. It was very disappointing, but true.
Okay. Now, you mentioned earlier that the president has been addressing the state. What has the government said in relation to finding a solution to this current situation?
Well, the president has basically been telling everyone to calm down, don't go into a panic, try and adjust to the new policy. This is something that's going to be great in the long run. President Muhammadu Buhari has been trying to say that, of course, trying to say we're going to see how we can come in. In fact, after his speech a few days ago, they reintroduced the old 200 naira note. That's going to be in circulation and in use for at least the next 60 days. You know, the old 200 naira note, but officially in Nigeria, 500 naira and 500 naira and 1,000 naira notes, the old ones, are officially not legal tender. Now,
Okay.
the problem with what's happened, especially with this directive from the president, is the fact that there is a case in court. Some governors have gone to the Supreme Court asking, that this is not going to be tenable, where our people are suffering too much and whatnot. The last time they moved the suit, there was supposed to be a consolidated suit for the 22nd, which is in a few days' time. We're supposed to be there to see how that works out. But officially, the Supreme Court has actually put a stay of execution on the banning of the old notes, saying that they're still legal tender until this suit is heard. What's happened is, while the Supreme Court has said that, some other states joined the suit, about 9 states. So we have 7 on the part against the redesign policy and 2 on the side of the federal government's redesign policy. But what's happened is that consolidated suit is supposed to hold on the 22nd. Before that 22nd, the president went ahead and did a speech explaining that, look, we're going to introduce just the 200 naira, but officially 500 and 1,000 are not legal tender. If you have those old notes, please bring them to the Central Bank of Nigeria, and they will collect those notes from you and credit your accounts.
Kayla, I'm grateful that you joined us from Nigeria with this update. So Kayla Megwa is a journalist with the Channels Television, Abuja, Nigeria, joining us all the way to give us an update on what's happening in the country. We'll be keeping an eye on that. Now.